Although staking your altcoins is nothing new, we're seeing more and more projects offering the promise of yield on Bitcoin. Here's what you really need to know. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to dive into this story about this project that just received approximately $16 million. And they are claiming that they are going to be a restaking service on Bitcoin. And the startup's name is Lumbard. And there's also this other piece about this Babylon exchange. So there's a bunch of moving parts. And in all fairness, I'll just say it right now. I think that this is a grift, right? I do believe that this thing will blow up and fail, but nonetheless, let's go through the article and some key pieces of information that I think are just red flags. And yeah, I think that people should stay away. So let's dive into it. Lumbard is partnering with staking startup Babylon to let users earn interest for restaking with Bitcoin. Huh? So there already isn't any staking with Bitcoin, okay? So I don't know what this business with the restaking is. So, all right, we're going to continue on here. Restaking is all the rage in Ethereum blockchain circles. It allows users to earn interest by leveraging their staked assets to help secure other blockchain apps. Now, I'm going to stop that right here and just explain that that is just complete and utter nonsense, okay? You providing your shitcoins to an exchange that then essentially pays you out in new Vapor tokens in no way, shape, or form secures any blockchain apps. It doesn't secure any blockchains. This is bullshit, straight up, okay? That's all it is. It's total nonsense. Continuing on, Lumbard aims to elevate. This is, again, right, this is part of the pitch, the language. Lumbard aims to elevate BTC. That's right, because BTC, it's old. It's a dinosaur. It doesn't do anything except the most important thing you need, which is store your value and make it so that the government cannot censor your transactions. But now, it needs to elevate from that, guys. It needs more usefulness, okay? And Lumbard is here to help with that, guys, okay? So it's going to elevate BTC from its store of value into a productive asset, which flows into the Web3 economy and drives sustainable growth. That is, again, total marketing speak and bullshit. And already, look, we're not even halfway through this article, and I already know that this is a complete, utter fucking scam. Anyways, Polychain. Nice. Polychain Capital led Lumbard's funding round. Now, for the people who don't know who Polychain Capital is, one of the things that they do is provide a lot of the developers for the shitcoin space. Yeah, that's right. Most people didn't know that. So this is interesting, right? So Polychain Capital led Lumbard's founding round, joined by Babylon Chain Inc., Dow 5. Oh, Franklin Templeton, look at that. The first ETF that started to pump and push shitcoins. Who would have thought that they were invested in this nonsensical vaporware that is claiming to provide yield on your Bitcoin? Oh my gosh, we're surprised. Anyways, Foresight Ventures, Marana Ventures, Mantle Eco Fund, and Nomad Capital. Restaking was introduced on Ethereum with EigenLayer, one of the biggest DeFi success stories in recent memory. EigenLayer rocketed to 18 billion in deposits in under a year by promising users extra interest on assets they'd already staked to help secure Ethereum. So if this sounds familiar, for the people that are old enough or that actually read about the mortgage crisis, you probably figured out what CDOs were, right? CDOs being collateralized debt obligations. Now, what the investment banks did was they took those collateralized debt obligations and they created synthetic, as if those first products were real to begin with. They created this other derivative out of it, these synthetic products out of those credit debt obligations. So this is essentially the same thing. Okay, this is really no different. So there is a vapor product that is created, and then they can pay you more vapor tokens based on the initial vapor token. Okay, and obviously the key to all of this is that you always keep giving them the base asset that they're asking for. Now, with this, with the eigenlayer, however you want to pronounce it, that was on Ethereum. So obviously they wanted your ETH. Now, in this case, right, with Lumbard, they don't want your ETH. They want your Bitcoin. Eigenlayer's restaked assets get pooled together to secure a web of other crypto protocols that use proof of stake security. In essence, Eigenlayer and other restaking protocols let upstart blockchain apps bootstrap their security, and they offer investors a new way to leverage their crypto holdings. Now, just a couple of things. There are no investors here. This is all gambling, okay? The reason why these words are used is to make you feel like you're not being scammed, right? Because they're not going to call you a degen gambler, because then that's kind of making it obvious that this is a fucking grift, right? So instead, they're gonna tell you that you're an investor, and that should conjure up this idea to you that you're intelligent and you make informed decisions as an investor. All of it is just fucking marketing speak. That's all. Anyways, Lumbard extends on Babylon's cross-network security tech with the advent of liquid Bitcoin tokens. Now, for the record, I did reach out to Adam Back, who is the CEO of or CTO of Blockstream, and I just don't remember if he's the CEO or CTO, but in any ways, it's irrelevant. I reached out to him to get a comment just about if they're actually using the Liquid network, because from everything I have read, I have zero evidence that they are actually using Liquid. They're just calling it Liquid Bitcoin, but this is not Liquid. Anyways. So yeah. A kind of traceable receipt on Babylon deposits that will, according to Lumbard, allow users to retain liquidity over the BTC that they've staked to secure other networks. By uniting major ecosystems and DeFi protocols to onboard LBTC, over 1.3 trillion in Bitcoin can be used to lend, borrow, and trade, providing new capital opportunities for Bitcoin holders and new capital and users for the ecosystems and their protocols. Our commitment to Lumbard represents a deeper belief in the leverage Bitcoin can have in catalyzing growth across the whole blockchain space. And of course, that came from Polychain Cap. Yeah. All right. So let's dive into this, because I, of course, as soon as I saw this tweet from Coindesk, I was like, okay, I got to dive into this, because I'm almost 100% sure that this is a total grift. They're using specific wording to conjure up confidence and to borrow credibility. Okay, I think that is the reason why they're using liquid Bitcoin. Okay, that's why I think they're using that term. I think the term restaking it's not, they're not being disingenuous with using the term restaking. But what they're doing is that they're kind of letting you know that this is a derivative of a derivative. At least that's the way I see it. Like, to me, the second I saw restaking, that was a red flag. Anyways, let's continue. So here we go. Lumbard's liquid restaking. BTC staked to Lumbard is restaked into Babylon. What? To earn a native yield. LBTC represents Bitcoin staked into Babylon. So look, I'm going to say this right here, right now. It's just a shitcoin that they create. This has nothing to do with the liquid network, okay? This is a total shitcoin that is created in order to represent Bitcoin. And if you ask me, this is not going to end well. I can already see that this isn't going to end well. And I'll show something. There's a diagram from from Lumbard, which really I find confusing. And I'm going to show it to you guys. And hopefully maybe you guys can help me maybe make sense of it, because I'm pretty sure that it's a scam and it makes no sense. Anyways, Babylon's Bitcoin staking. Babylon's trustless Bitcoin staking enables shared security for proof of stake chains and provides native yield to LBTC. Okay. So they combine the two. Now, let's take a look at the companies that were involved right? The companies that are backing this. Okay, so Polychain Cap, right, which we already said. Dow 5, which, I mean, right away, you know it's shitcoining. I never heard of these. Foresight Ventures, Marana Ventures, this venture. Nomad Capital I've heard of. Franklin Templeton Investments totally doesn't surprise me. I have been saying this from the beginning, and I know, okay, I'm not an influencer, and I don't say the magic word, so it really makes no difference what I say until it comes true. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, how did he know that? Well, because I read and I pay attention. But this is going to be the legacy finance pump. All the previous pumps we've seen did not have the big money from legacy finance, from TradFi. And now it is here and we can see it because their names are starting to pop up as the investors and as the promoters for these projects. Okay, now we're going to dive into supposedly how this all works, okay, and essentially where this quote-unquote staking ecosystem is right now. Lumbard is currently in phase 1 and live on the Ethereum mainnet. Huh? But it's Bitcoin. If it's Bitcoin, why is it on a shit chain? Spoiler alert. All they're trying to do is take your Bitcoin. That's all this platform is trying to do, okay? And I believe that Lumbard, in conjunction with Babylon, have figured out a very elegant way of grifting noobs, with the carrot on the end of the stick being you can finally earn yield safely on your Bitcoin. Anyways, so the eligible participants are staking native BTC and minting LBTC. Phase 2 will commence in a matter of weeks and will make LBTC available to the public while maintaining deposit caps. We have input because let's face it, right, guys? You can't dump this LBTC if there's no market for it. So they got to create a market for it. Anyways, we have implemented an LBTC waitlist to manage demand for LBTC and provide us with a mechanism to reward early participants with exclusive access and benefits over time. Seigniorage. Totally in the ethos of Bitcoin. I love it. Anyways, now some of my favorite bullshit language is used right here. Let's dive into it. The Lumbard Consortium. Yeah, that's right. Supposedly this was all decentralized and all of that good stuff, but apparently there's a management team. Lumbard launches an alliance with leading chains and blue chip protocols to drive LBTC adoption. So right there, your monkey brain, my monkey brain, right? What are we saying? Oh, wow, they're going to use trusted protocols, blue chip protocols. And of course, this is meant to conjure up the idea of blue chip stocks, blue chip companies. And when you picture those things in your mind, you associate these very well-respected, legitimate companies that return value to their investors. This is the fantastic picture in your mind, blue chip protocols. It's fucking bullshit. Complete bullshit. Lumbard is uniting major ecosystems to collectively onboard, and this I find a strange statement. They're trying to collectively onboard 21 million BTC into DeFi. LBTC is backed by a consortium of industry leaders similar to a cooperative alliance. Huh. That's strange. I thought that this was liquid Bitcoin and it was a peg, but apparently the peg is just backed by a consortium of leaders. Guys, this is the icing on the cake. This right here is the architecture. Okay, this is the architecture of this. Now, the staker is the initial person that is essentially, they're calling them a staker, but really it's the fleeced. Really, it's the noob, the degen noob that thinks that they're investing, but really they're getting grifted. Now, I find this very, very strange, and I'll explain to you why. Okay, guys? So here we have the staker, okay, and the staker sends their BTC to a Bitcoin node. Which node? Fuck knows. Nobody knows. Anyways, then they go and they listen to new addresses trigger deposit notarization, okay, and there is a requested notarized deposit of all of this, okay? Now look, this is all the point where you give them your money, okay? This whole left side here is you giving them your Bitcoin, okay? And then somehow, right, they verify your staked BTC, okay? But also in conjunction, once they do that, okay, They request a deposit address for you, and then they mint LBTC, burn LBTC, whatever it is, okay? But this is the part that actually kind of freaks me out, okay? So you've got this key management over here, right, that goes over to this cube signer, whoever the hell that is, okay? And this consortium which runs everything. Now check this out. Why the hell are they unstaking your BTC to this Babylon platform? This is going to be like an FTX type of thing, okay? This is going to even be like a Luna type of thing, like all of this stuff. So what's going to happen is that this Babylon thing, this is how they're going, in my eyes, this is how they're going to steal the money. So look, it's this whole entire, because if you ask me, if you're unstaking BTC, right, that means it's the staker. So once the BTC is unstaked, shouldn't the unstaked BTC go back to the staker, not to this random platform? Something's weird. Something doesn't make sense. And I just, to me, this is just another red flag that makes absolutely no sense. I had to go do a little more digging. Yeah, that's right, guys. I go into all of this shitcoin stuff just so that you don't have to. But absolutely, all the links, as you guys know, are in the show notes. You can go and take a look through all of this yourself. So this whole thing about the cube signer, right? Who is this cube signer? So here we go. Generates Bitcoin addresses and applies security policies, ensuring secure and compliant address generation. Access control. Who can use the key and under what conditions? Usage limits. How many transactions and what types of transactions can be performed? Multi-factor approval. Enhances security by ensuring that no single party can unilaterally authorize a transaction, making the entire process more robust and reliable. Time constraints. Specific timeframes during which these keys can be used. So, in other words, it's a person that can allow, or a group of people that can allow or reject transactions. I got to be honest, I don't like this. Like, this seems really weird and overly complicated on purpose. So yeah, I don't think this ends well. Okay, and just as a essentially what I did was I went to go take a look at Blockstream's Liquid implementation. Besides reaching out to Adam Back for comment to see if he can confirm or not that this platform is actually utilizing is actually using the Liquid ecosystem, I don't think they are. And when you take a look at the companies and the federations that are using Liquid, none of them are listed here. Okay, there is no Babylon, there is no Lumbard. Yeah, there's none of that. And keep in mind, guys. Okay, keep in mind, just because something is using Liquid, it doesn't mean that it can't fail. And what I'm pointing at here is DMM Bitcoin. Okay. So you guys may know that I for the people that have followed me for a long enough time, you know that I often refer back to this REKT leaderboard, right? And the REKT leaderboard is full of DeFi projects that have gone under. And take a look. Okay, here it is, DMM Bitcoin. This just happened less than 2 months ago, guys. $304 million hacked from this exchange. So the idea that just because that they're creating these alliances and these partnerships, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get wrecked, okay? Now, the fact that they have to create a shitcoin, okay, and then move your BTC, your unstaked BTC to this Babylon exchange, to me, this is total red flags, okay? Anybody that needs to create a shitcoin, guys, this is how they're going to create the illusion of liquidity. This is how they're going to create the illusion of market demand. This does not end well. Now, look, I am not telling you that in the beginning it may not seem to work. You got to remember that a lot of these grifts are fairly, even though they're fairly low level, they are at the same time sophisticated in how they are rolled out. So look, people in the beginning will seem to be getting paid out, right? And of course, we have no idea what number of those people are simply just paid actors, right? Paid marketing. We have no clue. So you just have to trust. And that essentially is what begins the snowball effect. Take a look at what happened with FTX, right? It's a totally different type of thing, but FTX did have its own token in order to create its own liquidity. And then later we found out that there was a whole bunch of shenanigans in the background going on between Sam, Caroline, trading FTX and essentially dumping BTC. So none of these people are past that, right? And of course, we didn't find any of this stuff until much later. Okay, but all of the very trustworthy actors and cheerleaders, we all listen to them. Well, I didn't listen to them, and I'm sure a lot of Bitcoiners that are watching the show didn't listen to them, but there are many people who did listen to them and got wrecked. So guys, I know that like right at the beginning you're gonna be like, oh, Phil's just a hater, you don't like tech. That's totally fine. I don't see a reason in risking my Bitcoin on one of these shitcoin platforms, which their only ultimate goal is to get your Bitcoin. Believe me, they do not give a shit about growing, quote unquote, the ecosystem. Okay, none of that. All they are trying to do is get as much of your Bitcoin as possible. Okay, and make you think that you're this savvy investor while they pay you back in worthless shitcoins. Anyways, guys, that's my take on Lumbard. I know that was a long take, but I had to go through multiple pieces. I see way too many red flags without even getting into the nuanced technicals, which is where they are able to grift most of the noobs. But yeah, I personally would stay away. And obviously, we're going to follow this, and who knows? Maybe in about a year or so, we'll be adding them to the REKT segment on the weekly Pleb Underground show. Sometimes the decision not to do anything with your Bitcoin really is the best decision of what to do with your Bitcoin. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes inactivity is activity, and it's sometimes the right activity. And I believe that when it comes to these staking services, the best thing to do is stay away. That's all I wanted to talk about. I'll catch you on the next one.